Hey guys, welcome to writing for Wednesday, the 13th of May. It's my mum's birthday today. I'm going to do this one a bit quiet because, as you can see just behind me, where I'm at Wembley Stadium. For some reason, they've let people in and a big crowd, and Ed Sheeran's just warming the crowd up for me before I go out and perform my world famous ballads. So I thought I'd quickly get this lesson done, just so you guys can see where your songwriting can actually take you somewhere where it's taken me. Wembley Stadium, Ed Sheeran warming up for me. Incredible. All right, let's get into it. So, our ballads. Yesterday, we should have drafted a ballad. Your ballad should have 3 stanzas. It should have a refrain that you've repeated twice. So, that's your chorus. And it should be written in the ABCB, not ABAB like on this picture I've just noticed. ABCB structure is what we're going for. Obviously, you can play around with that a bit though if you would like to for effect. We're going to go through a bit of a checklist though in a moment, so we'll make sure we've got all that. But before we do that, don't go too far, our APK, how would you improve my first stanza that I've written in my refrain? So I've framed this as a question. Is there anything you would add, remove, move, or change? That's revising. I want you to show me. So whether you take a snapshot of this page with my face on it and show some revision to my writing, whether you write it down in your books, so write down my 2 verses here and then show what you've revised. I want you to add, remove, move, or change at least a couple of things in here just to get your minds ready to improve our writing, because that's what we're going to be doing today. So I'm going to give you a moment to do that now. Hit pause, do what you need to do. All right. Look forward to seeing what you guys have done to my writing, because there is no reason why you shouldn't be able to improve my writing, even though I'm at Wembley Stadium here about to perform my incredible ballads. I love to hear what other people think. All right. I'm doing that a lot lately, maybe myself. Let's have a look at our learning intention today. So what are we doing? You might have an idea from our APK. We're learning to revise to ensure we have a strong voice. So that's going to be our focus of our revision, is our voice. So we're also going to be editing. So you can check your spelling using technology, and you can use a checklist to improve your ballad, which is what we do. We don't write a draft and then say that's as good as it's going to be, because that is not how things work. All right. Really quickly, I know we've been through this before, but revising and editing. What is it? So when we revise, what were some of those things that we just did in our APK? We added things. So add more detail or information. Or craft. That's right, craft. Oh, it doesn't autocorrect for me, so you get to see all my typos. We remove, so anything that we think is unnecessary, remove unnecessary detail. We can move things we've already written. So you might have something, for example, in here, in your ballad, might be like a second line, and you go, hey, that's going to work better if that was the 4th line, and I flipped it, or I changed this one and I put this line down here, or this word. So we can move things we've already written. And we can substitute or change what we've written. And what we've written. All right, and a really great way to remember it, which I'm sure you've seen before, let's change the color to purple, is if we look at the first letters, it makes arms. So arms helps us remember what we do when we revise. What about editing? What's editing? What's the difference? Oh, hang on. I want to add one more thing to revising. You do it before you edit, because when we edit, we are fixing, let's slash it, correcting, spelling mistakes. I'm going to put identifying spelling mistakes too, because sometimes if you're trying to edit yourself, you might not know the correct spelling, but you can identify and have a go at changing it. We are checking our grammar. So does it make sense? And read it out loud. That's how we check if it makes sense. And then we're checking our punctuation. Is it there? Is it in the right spot? Can we have different punctuation? I always hit that O when I hit right. And check on. There we go. Checking punctuation. So they're the main things we're going to be doing today. We teachers have created something to help you out. So normally if we created a checklist like this, we do this all together. But it's a bit tricky with online learning at the moment. So I'm just going to clear, bear with me, I apologize. Clear what I've done here, just because it's going to come up on my next page. You can always scroll back to get those. Again, take a screenshot. It's going to help you when you're working today. I need to add the checklist. All right, let's have a look at the checklist. So I've shared this checklist with you on Google Classroom because I wanted to make a copy for each of you, so you could have your own copy. So it's on Google Classroom if you can't find it. And we've put together all the key features that you must have in your ballad for it to be a ballad. Now, if you've done something slightly different to what we've asked, I'm going to say that's okay, as long as you can justify the effect. So for example, I said before, you might have a different structure to ABCB, but you're going to justify why that's effective and why it's still a ballad. And I'm okay with that because that's what writers do. Writers play with the rules. There's no set rules. They're not even rules. They're not set in stone. But these are the things we must have. So you're going to go through your piece. It's going to help you revise. It's going to help you edit too. First one, my ballad tells a clear story and makes sense. Reading things out loud to yourself helps you realize if things make sense or not. Because when we read in our head, our brain can try to fix the meaning automatically without us realizing. It's just a skill we develop as really great readers, which we all are. But if we read out loud, we use our ears to help us. So you're going to make sure that it tells a story and makes sense. You're going to make sure you've got the A, B, C, B structure. So that's a bit of organization and sentence fluency. We've got our traits in here. We're making sure we're using all the 6 traits of our writing. I've created and frequently placed a refrain. So we've asked you to do at least 2, a repeated refrain twice. If you have more, that's okay. If you've only done it once, it's not a refrain, it's a verse. I have at least 3 stanzas, which is what we've asked you to do. At least is the key word there. You could have more. My sentences vary in length to sustain the reader's interest. So if they're all really short lines or short sentences, you're going to find when you read it out loud, it's not really going to sound great. So again, reading out loud is going to help you there. We want to vary our sentence lengths. A bit of conventions here. So when we're talking conventions, we're generally talking editing. I've used capital letters at the start of every sentence. I've correctly punctuated the end of sentences. So it could be the end of each line. A sentence could go over a couple of lines. Depends on how you're written it. Now we've talked about this a bit too, the language you're using, and this is a key word choice. My ballad includes at least 3 of the following: personification, simile, metaphor, alliteration, onomatopoeia, and descriptive phrases to create imagery or visualization. So as you go through, we want you to highlight and tick. So if you've got 2 examples of personification, give it 2 ticks. At least 3. Poetry is all about creating an image for our reader in their mind. It's all about this kind of language. And it's going to create your mood as well. We're going to talk about voice in a minute quickly. This language you use is going to create that voice. I've checked the spelling is correct. and have checked any unknown words with an adult after I've tried myself using an iPad. So I'm going to talk to you about a strategy you can use to check your spelling after you've had a go yourself in a minute. My ballad story's intended message is clear. So that's very similar to the top one. And then this last one, my voice can be heard through powerful, striking words and phrases that catch the reader's attention. So we talked about using that figurative language just before. It needs to be purposeful. So do you want to create an image or create a feeling for your reader of frustration or fear or happiness or joy or humor? The language you use is going to form that. So if you had a look back at my first stanza, I wanted to create the mood of like the passion and the love. I want my reader to feel that when they read that stanza. Now, as I went on, like I said yesterday, on Monday, I said this, my feelings towards my writing, I guess, what I want to portray to my reader is going to change. It's a bit of a roller coaster. That's what I said. So it's going to be the despair and frustration that the sport's been taken away from me. Then my last one, I'm going to use language that's going to show how much joy again and absolute euphoria that it's back and it's better than ever. So we do that through our language. So have a think about the figurative language you're using and the voice you're creating. All right. And then we're going to sign it off. So let's get down to your activity today, blue writing. There's a couple of things you need to do, so watch this carefully. Come back to this, make sure you've done everything. Number one, you need to revise and edit your draft using the strategies I talked about before. Go back and watch it. Take a screenshot of that, of the things I wrote down to help you out. 2, check you've included all the key elements using the ballad checklist. So 1 and 2 you can kind of do together. So you can use your checklist to help you revise and edit. We want to see evidence. This is on your written draft, okay? So then once you think you're ready, what I want you to do is you've revised and edited. I want you to type your completed ballad into a Google Doc. So it's almost like you're publishing it into Docs, but this isn't publishing. Because Google Docs is going to help you do a final spelling and grammar check. So you've had to go yourself at fixing words. Google Docs is going to help you. Let's use the technology. It's there. It does it for us. After we've had a go, let's use it to help finalize. Then it's going to be really easy for teachers to check that your writing is ready for publishing, that your spelling's correct, your grammar's correct, you've written the ballad, etc., because we're going to publish tomorrow. Okay, there's a little bit there. But if you look at number 4, it makes it really clear. Upload first your edited and revised writing. So that's your handwritten one with evidence of things crossed out, things moved, arrows, different colors showing editing and revising. Then we also want a copy of your typed version. So then we can check to make sure it's ready for publishing. And we want to see your checklist ticked off to make sure you've gone through it. So even as you can see in brackets, I've got 3 things you're uploading. Plus your APK, so 4 things actually. Good luck today. Enjoy. Your biggest focus is thinking about the mood you're creating. Is your reader feeling the emotion you want them to? After you've done all that, our reflection, just want you to reflect on one thing you did to improve your ballad. Did you change something? Did you rewrite something? Did you move something? Did you delete something? All of those things improve. All right. Good luck. Looking forward to seeing all your writing this afternoon. I can't wait to read them. And then tomorrow's going to be fun when we publish.